I will now give the word to Mrs. Veronika Štěpánková, who is business consultant in South Moravian Innovation Center. And she will give you an overview on how this center can help new entrepreneurs to find the right direction and establish a successful company. So I hope everything will be working. And Veronika, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you can see my presentation now.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. Hopefully I will be able to catch your attention in 10 or 20 minutes. So my presentation is called From Research Idea to Startup. I have divided my presentation into two parts. In the first part, I will mention some important aspects that are good to consider when starting a business. This is partially based on my own experience, as I worked as CEO of a biotech company for about 6 years. And in the second part, I will briefly introduce the South Moravian Innovation Center, JIC, as an organization that supports entrepreneurs, including those at the very beginning. I believe that the information on these slides is well known to you, as you have decided to attend this workshop and you probably have some technology attractive for commercialization. So I would like to emphasize that today government and also universities are more and more encouraging researchers to take their work out of the lab into the commercial sector because benefits are quite obvious. If you decide to commercialize your technology by establishing a startup or spin-off or by selling a license, you will have the potential to see how what you have developed in lab transfer to real products and get to the hands of the public, to the hands of your customers. Possibly you are an academic researcher or a PhD graduate, and maybe you have question if it's possible to become an entrepreneur. Yes, of course. There is a good news. In general, academic researchers are already equipped with practically all necessary skills to take their research idea to the market. For example, an important part of your current job is to identify a gap in knowledge, to identify a problem that needs to be solved. Same in business. In business, you have to usually undertake an extensive research to show how solving this problem or filling this gap in knowledge would benefit society, would benefit your customers. Both in academia and business, you must network with people. You have to present your work, your products at conferences, or you have to pitch your business ideas to investors for some startup funding. To ensure successful completion of your research project or development of product, you need to apply for funding. You have to write grants. Moreover, as a researcher, you have a high tolerance for extreme uncertainty. Similarly, when starting a company, every day you have to respond to some crisis. You had no idea were coming. So these similarities and complementarities are evident. By searching the internet, you can find lots of advices and instructions on how to start a successful company. However, the truth is that starting your own business is in most cases a difficult process and requires getting out of the comfort zone, especially for someone with a research mindset used to the academic environment, following well-established scientific rules and procedures. It's really difficult. And general advices that apply to everyone do not exist. Reasons why startups usually fail are, however, quite well known, and several studies have been published on this topic. Definitely the main reason is no market need. It means that startups usually have designed products or services that customers do not want to buy. They don't need them. You can have a great innovative technology published, for example, in Nature, but it's nothing if you don't have a product solving some market problem. A great technology is definitely important, but it's only the first step in building a successful company. Yes. Here are just 5 examples of things to focus at first if you, as a researcher, decide to start a startup, or spin-off and commercialize your research. In academia, you are rewarded for new discoveries, for publications. But in startups or in company, the only thing that you are rewarded for is making progress towards a commercially attractive product, a product with sufficient addressable market. Therefore, it's really necessary, it's very important to critically assess that there is a market, that there are customers for your technology, for your products or services. Another important question when starting a business is definitely funding, especially in areas where development is usually quite time demanding and very expensive, which is biotech and healthcare, definitely. This issue is very acute. The third point is equally important for companies originating from academia, from university. In a typical spin-off or academic startup situation, there are several people who worked on the research project, including students, postdocs, professors. The first thing you need you need to decide is who is going to work for a company and who is going to stay at the university. If you, as a founder, want to remain in academia, okay, but you will have to find someone, some CEO to run a company. And here I would like to emphasize that it's really hard to find a great CEO to run a company based on the cutting edge research, biotechnology research at the very early stage of development. So really consider this point very carefully. Yeah, I think in general, recruiting and hiring top people for starting company is big questions, and probably not only for starting company, and I will mention this point in later. And the fifth point, if you are going to commercialize research started or originated from university, you will need to negotiate the rights to the intellectual property with the tech transfer office. You are probably aware of this obligation. But I recommend start the conversation with this technology transfer office as early as possible, because this will give you more time to work out a good and working agreement. As I mentioned before, no market need is definitely the most common reason why startups or spin-offs fail. Therefore, regardless of the field of technology, every business should start with market research. You can use Google, you can use special databases or business reports that are available on the internet. You can interview your target customers. You can send questionnaires. There are various options, but you definitely should be able to answer these questions. Who is your customers? Who can and who is willing to pay for your product or service? Second question, what is the problem you are trying to solve? You should know how customers solve this problem now without your technology, without your solution. It's necessary to clearly define specific benefits of your product, so-called unique selling points. And one of the first things every founder should do is to determine your competitive advantage. Compare your solution to other solutions, to other products on the market. And finally, a very important point, how do you plan to make money? Make a list of products or services that you are going to offer. Think about your go-to-market strategy. Identify your potential distributors or licensee if your business model is to sell license to one big, strong pharma company, for example. In general, the key is not to waste extensive resources to perfecting your process or product for which there is no demand. Instead, get some working prototype, some minimum product into the hands of some person, your target customers, who can evaluate it as quickly as possible. I would like to introduce you one tool. It's called Lean Canvas Board. It's really great tool how to make a brief one-page assessment of the startup project. This is perfect format for brainstorming your overall business strategy, so-called big picture, for example, together with your colleagues or co-founders. It's very simple and low-cost method. You can easily download Lean Canvas template on the internet, and it's a very useful first step to determine whether you have in hand something suitable for business exploitation. Funding. Yeah, business is about money. Often scientists are unsure whether they want to risk leaving a stable academic position to build a startup. So maybe you think about taking your idea and pitch it to some investor, and maybe you expect that if it's a good idea, the investor or strategic partner will provide you with a multi-million investment and thus give you a smooth transition from university to some well-funded company. It usually doesn't work like that. Actually, the issue is that it's usually too early at this point, especially in biotech and healthcare research, to raise money from investor. Widespread misconception is to believe that the research is done and that all that's left is just some commercialization, which is the easier part of the process. No, usually you find out that the thing the market or customer want is quite different from the thing that you develop at the university, and that more development needs to be done. The truth is that typically founders need to work really full-time on the company, on the product development for at least 2 years before it's ready to raise some money from investor. In biotech and healthcare segment, I think that 2 years are quite optimistic. 7 or even 10 years are probably more realistic. Therefore, you should be aware of other forms of funding. For example, self-funding. You can use your savings. You can raise some small amount from friends or family. You can go to the bank. Probably the most popular for academic spin-off or startups are grants, government grants, that are a very popular option. You can raise some small pre-seed funding from angel investors or venture capitalists, probably more angel investors who invest in startups at very early stages. Incubators and business accelerators are other options. However, usually they provide other forms of support. For example, some business mentoring, networking, or cheaper office workspaces. But there are also exceptions providing financial support. For example, at the JIC, we have JIC Venture Fund for startup companies. The good news is that there are several ways to finance startup company. But if you want to get funding, again, you need more than just attractive technology. Your team is also important. Sure, IP, patents, innovative technology is important prerequisite, but your technology and or your idea must be associated with the right people. So important step in starting a company is building a startup team. First step should be to decide, as I said, who is going to be full-time or part-time at startup, who will remain at the university, at what everyone's role will be in the company. This step is also related to the process of splitting up the equity, which is probably one of the most difficult decision when you are starting a company. After you decided who is going to work for the company, you should make a list of currently available competencies and identify skills that you need to have in other people. You have to describe the position you will need. And in addition to the summary of the position, your job description should also include the information on some unique culture aspects or unique values, visions, and missions of your company. So clearly define where you want to go and what it will stand for. This will allow you to find find employees who share your values and who are really excited about your mission and your values. Here I would like to say that many scientists, many researchers think, and it's also my experience, think that to start a company, you need to hire someone, maybe even a CEO with strong business and financial experience. Business experiences are definitely big advantage. However, they are not as fundamental for spin-off or for academic startup as you probably think. Of course, basic understanding of balance sheet, cash flow statements, etc., are necessary. However, in the first couple of years, running a spin-off or running a technology company is more about development. And whatever business skills you need, you can obtain them along the way if you are motivated to do a business, to run company. External consulting and mentoring from experienced business people is often a good compromise. Which brings me to the second part of my presentation, introduction of the South Moravian Innovation Center, JIC. JIC is an organization established and sponsored by South Moravian region, city of Brno, and several universities located in Brno. Since 2003, JIC has been helping to create some innovative business environment or ecosystem. Every year, JIC supports around around 100 company owners from South Moravia, from startups to really well-established companies and corporates. In general, JIC offers support in 5 different categories: entrepreneurial skill development and education, consultations with professional business consultants or people with wide business experiences, identification of proper funding for your business, particularly grants and connection with investors. Moreover, as I mentioned, JIC operates its own JIC venture fund. Another mission of JIC is to connect the clients with other Czech companies or even with big corporations. And finally, JIC can help you to find either workspace, laboratories, offices for your business. So JIC activities in the field of entrepreneurial skill development includes really various programs. Some of them are provided also in English. JIC closely cooperates with universities in Brno and organizes regular educational events, summer school, workshops, or competitions, not only for university students, but also for high school students, with the aim to inspire them to become successful entrepreneurs in the future. Startuji and Chci podnikat are workshops or series of seminars for the entrepreneurs at the beginning of their business road. If you apply for Mám nápad, you will have opportunity to pitch your idea or your business plan and gain valuable feedback from really experienced businessmen or businesswomen. Mentor Hours is service for new entrepreneurs who want to quickly discuss some very specific topic with experienced person, with some consultant. Each project or each entrepreneur or student can get 2 mentor hours for free. So both startups or spin-offs and well-established companies can benefit from consultations with JIC internal consultants or external experts from various fields of business. Usually consultations begin with really detailed analysis of the company needs, then topics for consultations are defined, and then consultants or experts are selected to really try to find a perfect match between the expert and company needs. It's really a tailor-made service. Consultants can spend up to 18 or 20 hours with the company and discuss topics such as funding, international expansion, building a team, marketing, and many more. JIC has also internal grant experts who are very well informed about various grant calls, especially those from the European Commission, previously Horizon 2020, nowadays Horizon Europe. Moreover, JIC has its own grant activities such as the program Prototype and Verify or Prototypuj a Ověřuj. In this program, you can apply for up to 1 million Czech crowns, which corresponds to 70% of the project budget. ESABIC Brno is a space incubator supporting innovative startups developing technologies attractive for space industry. ESABIC also provides money, I think up to 50,000 euro, as well as business mentoring. JIC also supports companies looking for money from investors. This support includes mentoring, how to find investor, how to prepare a successful pitch deck, or how to negotiate with investor. In fact, JIC experts have been in touch with several investors, for example, from Garage Angels. Moreover, JIC has its own JIC Venture Fund offering up to, I think, 3 million Czech crowns per project. This JIC Venture Funds is for JIC clients only. JIC also wants to be an active supporter of communication and cooperation between companies in the South Moravian region, including, as I said, not only startups, but also big corporation. We have this JIC Plus community, which is a community of JIC clients or startups, as well as big companies. Nowadays, JIC Plus contains more than 400 companies from South Moravian region. The CEOs or C-level managers from these companies are really motivated to share their experiences and establish new partnership with other companies. So I think it's very useful to be part of this community. Because besides networking events, JIC Plus also organize various educational events, workshops, and meetings. Besides consulting, mentoring, networking, or funding, JCC offers also workspaces for startups. If you are interested, you can find more information on our web. So I will only mention FabLab, which is quite interesting. It's the open digital workshop. It was set up to inspire people and particularly entrepreneurs to turn their ideas into products, into some prototypes. FabLab gives you access to a range of advanced digital manufacturing technologies such as 3D printers or some laser cutting machine. Every information can be easily found on the web. So to close my presentation, I would like to say that the Czech business ecosystem is strong in information and communication technologies. Therefore, it's not surprising that Czech startups offer more often some software products than biotech or pharma products or new drugs. On the other hand, big science and technology centers such as definitely SATE give hope that this disparity will be at least somehow balanced. Moreover, there is far more funding available now than ever before, and a well-developed ecosystem to support founders at the very early stage. So if you believe that you have interesting technology with some commercial potential, so don't be afraid, take a risk and expand the ranks of successful startups. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me by email and we can discuss your technology or your business plans in more detail. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Veronika, for a very comprehensive presentation. We had one question in the chat. Sadie has asked if you can please share us a list of funding organizations. I would maybe suggest if you have such a list, then you can link it to the chat as well.
Yeah.
And then we have another question for the presenter. Ryan is asking, is there any support from South Moravian Innovation Center or other local agency for idea stage STEM startups?
Yes, in general, we have a special program for spin-off or from people who are now at the university and who wants to start a business. So definitely you can contact us. We can discuss your project. You are probably particularly in a STEM segment, so we can probably find some expert from the field for you. I'm not sure whether we are able to do it, but hopefully yes. Definitely, I think that if you have some interesting technology, you want to start a business, contact me and we can discuss it personally, face-to-face in more detail.
Yes, and also a follow-up question, if the program of the center is available in English as well.
Consultations can be in English. These programs, some seminars, I think maybe 25% of them is in English. Majority of them is unfortunately in Czech. But for example, Chci podnikat, which is a series of seminars for starting businessmen, it's also in English. But now I don't know when will be next round, because in this online world it's quite complicated to organize such a workshop, and it's definitely more effective to have it offline in a seminar room, so we can easily network and discuss personally. So I don't know when will be a next round, but definitely there will be some. So we can be in touch and we can send you more information when it's relevant.